Hello everyone and welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for the final transfer weekly of the season. I'm joined by Declan McConville and we're going to go over all the month's transfer dealings and talk briefly, we'll try and keep it brief, about the wider policy and what we think of the business so far. So here's a brief look at what's coming up. Right Declan, so 7 players in.
Yep.
In all, only 2 permanent. What do you make of the business?
Quality wise, very good. One of our busiest windows under Brendan. Obviously we needed a full back to come in, but the 2 players that we've signed permanently, Bio and Shved, one's obviously going to go back out on loan, so only 1 player coming in, and again we've already got Edouard and Griffiths, so I don't know where he's going to fit in, but quality wise very good, but it just seems that the players that are brought in are just for the short term, which is disappointing. But if it gets us to 8 in a row and possibly a treble, will we be disappointed? No, so we'll just need to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we wanted to get the right back was a big one. I'd say that was the biggest priority for us. We thought we were only going to get one at one stage. We did get Jeremy Toljan over the line the other night, but again it's a 6-month loan deal. So what do you think about that in terms of, I know that we've really went in on the short term. These players are to get us to 8 in a row, which is fair enough, but it is another 6-month loan deal, but by all accounts he's a good player, so he'll really help us, won't he, in the right back position?
I think he can play right back or left back, so that's good. Obviously with Tierney still being out, cover wise, because I think he's a geary in big games, you can't always trust him, and you can go to Lustig and Toljan if you need to. But again, it's 6 months. My worry is going into Champions League qualifiers again, we leave ourselves short. And really, if you look at last summer and possibly this summer, we might just be in the same position. We've got a team, got still that core group of players, but we need that core group to be strengthened. Whether we do our business quick in the summer, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll bring up, you can see on the screen now, all the ins and outs. So as we've touched on, we've got Buck, Weah, Toljan all on loan. We did confirm Manny Perez and Andrew Gutman from the US, probably nominal fees, they're back out on loan. Vakun Bio, he's come in permanently, and Shved is 1.75 million, he's gone back to Lviv. So on the other hand, we did get some out, but they were all on loan as well. So what is it? Including the boys that came in and went straight back out. I think it's 6 loans who have gone out. But just to come back to it, do you think there is a reluctance to spend money? Do you think there's a reluctance to really invest in the team and strengthen it? Because we always hear how much January's a difficult window. It's hard to get business done. We could arrange of different excuses if you like. But do you think the club is reluctant to invest?
I think at times it has been reluctant, but there's no doubt that Rodgers has been backed at times, because we've brought in guys like Cham, Kouassi, Edouard, who under Lenny and Ronnie, you know, we're only getting these type of signings at £4.5 million. So he has been backed completely differently from the way our first 2 managers that have taken us to 7 league championships have been backed. But I think there is a reluctance to spend money. We've got a bloated squad with a lot of guys in big wages. I mean, this year labour costs increased by 14% to 59.3 million, which is a massive outlet for a Scottish Premier League side. So it's a squad that really needs a rebuilding job. It's an ageing squad with guys like, you know, Comper, who's not did anything, but he's ageing. De Vries is still there. Lustig's coming to that end period. I know obviously they're giving Brown a new 2-year deal, but it's a squad that needs to be fixed. It needs a rebuilding job. That is going to be a big task in the summer. Absolutely. I think, as you touched on there, the reluctance to get in permanent signs is going to give us more problems down the road. If you take the last 3 transfer windows, they have been underwhelming. You think about last January, we got what we needed in terms of we got the players in the right areas, but between Hendry, Comper and Masonda, they've all worked out to be really poor so far.
Scott Bain's probably the positive from last January.
Yep.
Then we had obviously we know all about the summer. That was a poor one as well. And we've got good quality in.
Better, I think, for the summer.
Aye, absolutely. We've been over that till the death. So we've got good quality in this month. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
And I think, I mean, I keep hearing, oh, we've got a right back in. Some fans still unhappy, and I don't want to come on here and be doom and gloom at all, and be negative. But we can't hide for the fact that this is really short term. It's not the solution that we wanted, and it is going to give us a problem in the summer, and that's something that we can't. There's no escaping from it. We can't, as fans, we can't just sit back and go, oh well, we got the right back in the end. We've brought some good players in, albeit 6 months loans, and just be settled with that and just be happy. I just want to run through some of Brendan Rodgers' quotes in the past week. I don't know if you've seen them. I'll try and keep it brief, but I think it's really interesting to hear what he said in relation to the transfer policy. To bring in a player on a big salary is very difficult. There is a level you can't reach without putting your club at huge risk. That's just the reality of where it's at. The climate and the financial side of the game elsewhere in Europe and down south in both the Premier League and the Championship is making it really difficult. You get Championship clubs who will pay players £50,000 a week. That's impossible for us to compete with. You learn to try and have patience in the window when you can. At the same time, you want to push to progress. I've always tried to be philosophical about it without getting too dragged down by it. I go back to the players you can afford to bring in and trying to make them better. If you look at the players here, they have got improved contracts and become better players, and they get paid better. That's brilliant for them and the club because they keep improving. But to bring in players over the top of them, that costs money, and that's the catch-22 situation. I think there's a few things there. I think I've said numerous occasions this month that Brendan Rodgers is reluctantly accepting of the way Celtic handles transfers, and I think that's shown there. To say that he's always tried to be philosophical and not get dragged down by it, I mean, I think that tells you.
His rhetoric says a lot. I read an article last week, and it seems that when he's talking about the team, he constantly refers to it as we, but when he's talking about transfers, board dealings, it's the board, it's them, and it doesn't look as if, I mean, at the AGM in November, it looked as if he was in the same level as the board and quite happy. But I think what that banner said last week, Tenor was not a project. It has been treated as a project, there's no doubt in that. I mean, we're at 7 championships just now. We've had 2 managers, one who left because he felt that he'd taken us as far as we could go, and I don't think was being backed by the board and Lenny. Then we turned to Ronnie, who of course has played a part in our success, but was initially supposed to be Roy Keane's assistant, as it was revealed in that BT documentary. And then under Ronnie, season ticket sales fell to below 40,000, so it has been treated as a project. And as long as we continue to penny pinch, not spend money on a settled team, go into Champions League qualifications short, and only do the bare minimum, it says a lot as our ambition as a football club. And I think Brendan Rodgers wants Celtic to be a top football club. Peter Lawwell always refers to it as a Champions League side, but doing the bare minimum, is it doing that? It isn't doing the ambition that we expect as Celtic supporters for what the club should be. Absolutely, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's bare minimum. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm fed up hearing that we don't have enough money, we can't compete to bring in the players we want to bring in. We and the club itself talk about Celtic as a reputable, big European football club. And its history speaks for itself. Of course it does.
The fan base speaks for itself. You look at the stadium, the facilities. We talk about the club on this grand scale, like we aspire to be a real big European football club. But I think the way that we handle investing in the team just doesn't reflect that.
It doesn't.
And it's obviously this month has been really short term. And you touched on there with Neil Lennon and then Ronnie Dyler. That is the bare minimum. We're doing the bare minimum to get by. And when we come back to the debate about the fans saying, "Oh, we've got a right back in, we signed 5-6 players," and some fans still aren't happy. It's not because
the thing that's annoying me is we're still looking ourselves to other teams in the league around us.
That's exactly what I was going to say there. I think, sorry to interrupt you, I just think that's exactly what I was going to say, because the fans who are like, oh, just these people are still negative, like why are you still moaning? We've signed the right back, we've done what we need to do, and some people are still moaning. Well, I think those fans who are still unhappy with how things have went this month want Celtic to be more than just better than Rangers, more than just better than the rest of the Scottish Premiership, because I think through what we've done in the summer and the effect that had in the team at the start of the season, we've ended up a lot closer to the rest of the league than we should be.
Of course.
And that's where it comes in, that do we want to push on and be more than that? Do we want to get back in the Champions League? Do we want to really develop and maximise the potential of the club? Or do we want to do the bare minimum and just get by, just stay ahead of Rangers, which by the way right now we're only 6 points there. We've became embroiled in.
Of course, better to be 6 points better off, but
so
I don't know why we're still comparing ourselves to a team that's not won a trophy in 8 years.
Aye, but the reality of it is, some people are just happy to be, as long as we're ahead of Rangers. And don't get me wrong, we all want 10 in a row.
Of course we do.
It's massive for us.
Yep, it's the best chance that we're going to get, I think.
Yep, it's once in a lifetime.
Yep.
It's a massive opportunity for us. We all want that. But at the same time, while we have Brendan Rodgers here, who's a top class coach, and we've seen what he's done with the players that he inherited, I just think if we had that real investment for 2 or 3 bits of real quality that we might have got this month, but as we said, it's only for 6 months, to just get those permanent signings in, back him properly, who knows what we could achieve if we did that.
You know, it could be anything. I mean, it could take me as far as another European final again, because you've saw other clubs like, I mean, Salzburg for instance, they don't spend a lot of money. Their scouting system's excellent. I know they've got backing from Red Bull and etc., but they get to a level by not spending great amounts of money, and that's obviously down to your scouting and other systems in your play. But they got to the Europa League semi-final last year, and when we played them home and away, I know they beat us twice, but was there that much between us? No. And I think a good bit of quality into our team, no reason why we can't go that far at all, you know, we're Celtic. So, as you said earlier, we want to be a top European side. We've proven before, first British team to win a European Cup, that we can be that side, so why not?
Absolutely. I think, just to come back to this month, having said what I've just said and the discussion we've been having, we've got good players this month. They are going to help us. We look a lot better already.
I mean, Burke's a £15 million player, you know. Toljan, £6 million. He was excellent at Hoffenheim, and I think PSG have got big plans for him because they've got him in a new deal, so there's no doubt quality's definitely there, you know.
Absolutely. So we know we've got the quality. I think particularly in attacking areas, we've seen already we've got a lot more options now, and these guys are going to help us, and for that we are happy with that. That's good to see. But bringing it back to the summer, then we're just going to bring up a graphic here of the potential rebuild. We've heard quite a bit in the past week or so about the rebuild we might have in the summer. So if you look at this, out of contract, players coming up out of contract, and players who are currently out of favour, who we don't see as having a massive future at the club as it currently stands. So you looked at there, we've got De Vries, Izagiri, Boyata, Benkovic, Lustig, Gamboa, Allen, Burke, Weir and Toljan, who as it stands right now, they're all gone in the summer because they're either out of contract or their loans are done. And then you look at the guys out of favour, you look at Malumbu, Compa, guys who just haven't made an impact at all. So we're talking 16, 17 players there who are either going to leave or they've not made a real impact. So what do you think we have to do in the summer? Particularly centre half is a big one. What do you think we have to do in the summer to plug those holes in the squad?
It's $1 million question. The guys that are out of favour, like De Vries and stuff, you know, if it's just run his contract out, then okay, but when you've got Boyata and Benkovic leaving, it's a real big problem, because the two of them have been your core centre half pairing. They need to go out and buy 2 centre halves or buy somebody to go in there. I think Chris Hire could be a good centre half for us, but you know, whether that's going to work out, I don't know, because obviously Jozo's still there, who they spent a good bit of money on, but doesn't really look as if he's Rodgers' first pick. And you've got Jack Hendry, who we also spent a considerable £1.5 million on. He doesn't look fancied at all at centre half, so I really don't know. I mean, it's whether teams will be interested in these players. Obviously, Yusuf's went back to Kilmarnock, but again, it'll been a really good wage at Celtic. You won't walk away from that to go into a wage drop.
It's like Scott Allen syndrome,
yeah, definitely.
Scott Allen syndrome. He's just, for all intents and purposes, he's sat out his contract on good money, which he's fully entitled to do so. The club signed him on that contract, but it's when you have numbers of these guys who are struggling to make an impact, who are just sitting there on contracts, and you talk about the wage bill there, that all adds up.
Of course it does, yeah.
It doesn't help the harmony of the squad either, to have guys who are just there seeing out their contract. I think, as you touched on there, we're going to see the centre half partnership of Ajer and Simunovic the next few weeks. It looks like both Boyata and Benkovic won't be back till March, so we're going to get a really good look there at those two, who are really that's all we've got really. Jack Hendry's there, back up. We thought he was going to go out on loan. He had to stay because of the injuries. We've got Compper, who, can we really count Marvin Compper as an option to come in at centre half? Because he's been here for so long and he's played 80 minutes. Like, he's there, but do we really expect him to play any part? So we're going to see Ajer and Simunovic for the next maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks. Unless
Beaton is dropped back in there, like he used them against Astana, or Lustig is pushed over if Kieran comes back. But I mean, if you're using players as you say there, Ajer and Simunovic are the only two real centre halves that you know are centre halves. So you're going to use players like Beaton, who is a central defensive midfielder, and Lustig, who's a full back, to start switching about positions.
It's bare bones, but
of course it is.
When we look at it, we'll see how we cope without Boyata Benkovic the next month or so. But
especially big games, it's going to be a big test, I think, for these guys.
Absolutely. We're going to come to Valencia in the next couple of weeks. We've got big away games coming up at Kilmarnock and at Hearts. So these, those guys will be tested in the next month or so, no doubt about that. But just to bring it back to the summer then, we're going to end up exactly where we were 12 months ago, because if you remember back in the summer, centre half was the big issue for us. That was, we really wanted to get a centre half in. It looked like Boyata was going to go. God knows where we would be if we didn't get Filip Benkovic in the door, because he's been great for us. But as we've touched on already, he's going to leave at the end of his loan deal. So it leaves us that really short window between the season finishing and the Champions League qualifiers, where we've got to get particularly centre halves in. So based on the past few windows, as we've spoke about, have we got confidence in the club to go and get the business done early, the right business, and time to get us to the Champions League group stages?
I think in that first season under Brendan, they showed that they could go and get the business done early. You know, he picked Scott Sinclair, Kolo Toure, Musa, and he got the players in. But the penny pinching that seems to exist still, with deals for McGinn, not to go back to that, but with low bids, and then even bio low bids. If they want the player and the manager's picked him, just go and get him and back the manager and say, if you want him, there's the money, go and get him and add him into the squad. Don't keep that just to be niggly bids, just get the player and get him in.
Absolutely, 100%. That is all we're asking for. We're not asking for 20, 30 million.
No.
And the thing that always gets me is people will say, well, you don't want to end up like them across the city. Well,
but
we're a million miles away from ending up like that. We're run well, but we're run too well in a business sense.
I don't think we're ever going to get to that stage.
So we're not asking for monumental amounts of money to be spent. We're asking for the right quality to get it done early, to get us back to where we want to be, because ultimately that's the Champions League group stages.
The manager knows, you know, he can't go out and spend 20 million on a player. But if it's a £4 million player and you're putting in £2.5 million bids, you're not going to get the player. So, and if I was the player and you're watching a club and they just keep going adding 300,000, 500,000 onto whatever they've offered, it's a bit of disrespect to the player as well. Like, you don't really see him as worth as the price tag that's been put on them.
Absolutely. So all we're looking for is those targets, those top targets, who might be 4, 5, 6 million. Go and get them, because I think that can make a massive difference. And we've got to get to the group stages next year, because that's where That's where, as a club, we should aspire, and that's the level we should aspire to be at. So, Declan, I'll ask you, we'll try and keep this one brief as well, but I've asked everybody recently, do you have any worries about Brendan Rodgers' future, given this sort of uncertainty about transfers?
He's 46, he's not in any rush to leave. I think, from reading his book, from listening to him talk, he's a Celtic supporter. He seems to be happy here. I think he goes along with the way the club's run reluctantly, but does go along with it. I know folk are saying 6-month loan deal, does that indicate he's maybe off in the summer? I hope not, because Brendan Rodgers is good for Celtic. He's created history. He's been a top class character in Scottish football as well for what he's done, and you know, he's brought real interest again to Scottish football. So I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he's here for, hopefully, what we hope is going to be the big 10 in a row that's going to create history for him and for Celtic as a club. But you know, football's football. He's been through the Premier League. He knows he's not got a stable job there. He's on a really good wage at Celtic. He's happy. He's a Celtic supporter. What else could he want? So I hope he will be here.
100%, I agree. That's it for this week, and that is it for the transfer content. We'll be back in the summer, and hopefully we've got lots of early deals to discuss. You know what to do, like the video, don't forget to subscribe, comment with your own thoughts below, and we'll see you tomorrow at McDermott Park. Thank you.